everybody, welcome back to Signing with Lampra. I'm so glad that you came back, and all those that are new watching, well, welcome to the show. We're just going to do a review of what we learned from the first episode. So if you're new, this is a way of you catching up, and if this is your second time tuning in, this is just a way for you to review. So let's start. So we're going to start with the ABC song that we learned. So are you ready? Okay, let's go. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Here we go. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? Very good, everybody. And since you guys are all now pros at the ABC song, instead of saying sing with me, you can say sign with me. And then we went over and we learned our numbers. Remember, this was the sign for numbers. So we did our numbers from 1 to 20. So let's review that. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Now remember, we learned two other different ways of doing 16 through 19. You could rub your fingers like this on your thumb, or you can go 10, 6, 10, 7, and so forth and so on. If you don't remember, just go back to the first episode and you can review that. We also learned greetings, so let's review the greetings if you might have forgotten, or if you're new, this is your first time learning the greetings. So we learned good morning, good afternoon, good evening or night. We learned how to say hello, how to say formal hello, and then we also learned how to say, how are you? And the different responses that we learned with how are you, we learned fine, we learned good, we learned bad, we learned so-so, we learned tired, we learned sleepy, we learned same old, and we learned nothing much. Also, we also learned how to say goodbyes or farewells, so we also learned how to say goodbye. We learned how to see you tomorrow or see you later. And we learned how to say take care. And if you remember, my personal favorite was drive safely. So very good, very good. So we are now all caught up. And so we're going to keep on pursuing our journey into learning more sign language. So I hope you were able to get an opportunity to go into the social deaf events and be able to socialize with deaf individuals or people in the deaf community. So let me teach you more about how to conversate more with a deaf person. So you probably noticed that a lot of deaf people ask, were you deaf? And you probably saw this sign when they said it. So they probably ask, are you deaf? This is a sign for deaf. You can go from ear to mouth or mouth to ear. It doesn't matter which direction you use, but that's the sign for deaf. Now, some people might ask if you're hard of hearing. The sign for hard of hearing is you take the letter H and you just bounce it like this. Hard of hearing. So we have deaf, we have hard of hearing, and they also probably ask you, are you hearing? This is the sign for hearing. So you probably saw these three different signs when you were out and about meeting and socializing with the deaf community. You probably saw deaf, hard of hearing, and hearing. So that's something important that you need to know, because that's something that anybody that sees someone signing, they're going to ask those three questions. Are you deaf? Are you hard of hearing? Or are you a hearing individual? Another thing that we need to learn about having a conversation with a deaf individual is how to ask a question. So how do we ask what, when, where, how, and what? You're probably wondering how to sign those. So I'm going to teach you. Okay, so you're probably wondering how to say what. So this is how you say what. You just shake your hands like this. Remember, we kind of learned how to say what when we were asking you name what or your name. So this is how you say what. And how you say why is you take your hand and you drop it down like this into the letter Y. why. So we have what, why, and this is who. So you take your dominant hand, you take your thumb to your chin and your index finger and you just wiggle it. Who. So you have what, why, who, and you also have when. So you take your non-dominant hand and you draw a question mark and you around your index finger like this. This is when. I like this sign. I think this is a fun sign to do. So you have what, why, who, when, and this is a sign for where. So with your dominant hand, you just shake it. This is where. So we have what, why, who, when, where, and the sign for how are you, you almost know how to do because it's the sign for how are you, but if you just want to just assign how, you go how. Just a little movement like this, how. So those are the question signs that you probably need to know in order to have more of a communication with a deaf individual or someone in the deaf community. Also, you probably want to know the days of the week because sometimes they may ask you a question like, when do you go to church? And some individuals go to church on different days of the week or go to their temple or their place of worship. So let me tell you the different days of the week. We have Monday. You take the letter M and you just circle around like this. This is Monday. Tuesday, you take the letter T, circle around like this for Tuesday. Wednesday, take the letter W, circle around like this. Now Thursday is different. There's two different variations of Thursday. You can go TH for Thursday, or you can take the letter H and just circle around for Thursday. Friday, Saturday, and now Sunday, there's two different variations. Sunday is like this, Sunday, because people usually praise whoever they worship on Sunday. And also you may see Sunday used as this too. This sign is a very older sign. Not a lot of deaf individuals use this sign anymore. So you will see a lot of deaf individuals or people that are in the deaf community sign Sunday like this. So let's go over and review that again. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we have Sunday, or you may see this sign for Sunday as well. Another signs that you may need to know to speak with a deaf individual or those in the deaf community is this means every day. This means tomorrow. You take your non-dominant hand and you slide it across like you're using your tablet or your iPhone or Android, and this means week. Now, if you put a stop to it like this, this means weekend. So you have week, you have weekend, you have tomorrow, you have every day, and this is yesterday, yesterday. And then month is you take your non-dominant hand and you run your dominant hand back behind your finger. Now, if you run it in the front, it means something different, and you don't want to run it in the front. You want to run it in the back. So make sure that you run it in the back and not in the front. So let's review what we just learned. So we're going to do what I like to call the WH sign. So you have what, when, where, who, why, and how. And the days of the week, you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you have week, weekend, every day, tomorrow, months, and this means day. So, day. So very good. You're doing awesome. Some more signs that you probably want to learn in order to have more of a communication with a deaf individual is if you want to tell a deaf individual that you're learning sign language, you would sign that this is sign for learning. It's like a book, and you're taking all the knowledge to the book and you're bringing it to your head. That's how I remember learning. This is learning. So I'm learning sign language. Or you can sign I'm learning ASL. And also, you need to know how to sign thank you. So this is thank you. This is please. And sorry is when you balled up your fist and go in a circular motion. Now you have to be careful that you don't confuse sorry and please, because a lot of individuals do. Just remember, please is an open hand and sorry is a closed fist. This is no, and you have to shake your head no, and this is yes. And the way you remember yes is because this is like a head is nodding. Yes. So we're doing really well. So I thought, since we're kind of beginners, but you guys are doing awesome with your signing, that I put up a dialogue. And so that we could start signing the dialogue together so you get some more practice with signing and with how you can communicate with a deaf individual. So let's look at here and look at our dialogue that we have right here. So if you only have one person, if you yourself is learning sign, you can go back and forth between being the two different people. Or you have another person that's learning sign language with you, that you guys can pick which person that you want to be. Since I'm talking to you, I'll pretend to be two people at the same time. So you have, hi, my name is Alan. So, hi, how are you? My name is Alan. And let me get my paper right here to make sure that I don't mess up. Your name is what? And then Holly would say, my name is Holly. Nice to meet you. Are you deaf? No, I'm hearing. I'm learning ASL. You know how to sign? Yes, I can sign. Are you deaf? No, I'm not deaf. I sign okay. You can either sign for that, you can sign okay, or you can sign so like that. It doesn't matter either or. I want to sign well. And you can use well and good interchangeably. Me too. I want to understand ASL. You want to meet me tomorrow morning? Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye. So I hope that with this dialogue, it helps you get a better understanding of how to practice your signing, and that you can have more fun, and it could be a great dialogue between you and another deaf individual, kind of how signing is supposed to go, and to see how much you learn and how well you're improving with your sign language. So, something that we're going to talk about right now is family signs. A lot of times when you go to a deaf social event, a lot of deaf individuals are curious about, what does your family look like? Do you have a mom? Do you have a dad? Is your mom and dad deaf? Are they hearing? How many brothers and sisters do you have? Do you have any nieces, any cousins? Those are just certain questions that certain deaf individuals would like to know more about you, so they can learn more about you and see, do you guys have something in common, or is there some type of connection between you guys? So the sign for family, you take the letter F and you go around like this. This is a sign for family. Family. So the different types of families that you have a mom. This is a sign for mom. This is a sign for dad. And so if you start noticing, what I'm doing is, it's easy for you to remember which sign is a female sign, which sign is a male sign, by knowing this one rule. All the signs that are near the head are masculine signs. Because in the signing world, they say that men wear hats. So that's why all the signs up here are male signs. All the signs down here are feminine signs, because girls wear blush. So you have mom, you have dad, you have grandma, you have grandpa, and the sign for aunt, you take the letter A and you shake it like this. Now you have to be careful that you don't accidentally turn your fist like this, because this means a woman's menstrual cycle. So you have to make sure that it's like this. This is for aunt. Uncle is the letter U, and you shake it up here for uncle. If you have a female cousin, you take the letter C and you shake it down here near the feminine part, cousin. If you have a male cousin, you shake it up here where it's masculine for this. And if you just want to say you have a cousin, you go somewhere in the middle and you shake it like that. Now, if you have a brother or you have a sister, there's two different ways of you sign it. If you want to sign sister, you go girl like this for sister, or you can go girls same. For brother, you go boy together, or you go boy same. So that's how you say sister and brother. If you're a parent and you're saying that you have a son or a daughter, you go girl baby for daughter. And then for a son, you go boy baby for if you have a son. Now, if you have any type of, if you have a step parent or a step brother, this is a sign for step or false. So this is step mom or step dad or step sister or step brother. You just add just a step in it. So let's review, because that was a lot to take in. So let's review. So we have mom, grandma, aunt, cousin, sister. These are two different ways. We have daughter. We have dad. We have grandpa. We have uncle, cousin. We have brother. And we have son. And I forgot nephew and niece. So niece is you take the letter N and you shake it down here for where it's feminine at. And for nephew, you shake it up here where it's the masculine. So these are all different family signs that different people will probably ask you, like how many brothers and sisters you have. So that sign looks like this. How many sisters you have. And you can list off how many siblings you have. And what I just did right here, this is called the listing hand. So instead of saying that, I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters, what you do is you just take out your listing hand and you say that I have a brother, and you will finger spell their name, and you just go down the list of people on your listing hand. And it makes it easier and more of a visual for a deaf individual to understand where you at in the list, and whether you have like 3 or 4 or 5 or just 2. This is how you just use your listing hand. It makes it more of a better visual. So you guys are doing really, really well. And so I got some of your questions that came in through the email that I'd like to answer for you guys. So one of your questions is that when you guys were out there at the social event, you saw some people that were talking while signing, and then you saw some deaf individuals only signing. So which one should you do? Should you talk and sign, or should you only sign? Well, in a deaf culture, really, there's really no need for deaf to sign and talk at the same time. Usually deaf do not sign and talk. Usually they just only sign, and they may use their mouth to emphasize on some of the signs that they use. But most of the time, the reason why deaf will sign and talk, if they're talking to a hearing person that is not very familiar with sign language, or they're a beginner, then they will talk and sign or silently move their lips so you can understand what they're saying, to have a communication going on between the two. Another question that was asked was that an individual wanted to know, what is the right word for me to use? I was taught that deaf people don't like to be called deaf, and that you should call them hearing impaired. So which word should I use? Should I use deaf, or should I use hearing impaired? Well, that is a really good question, because I know politically everyone believes that hearing impaired is the right word to use for a deaf individual or someone that is hard of hearing. And in reality, deaf individuals don't like to be known as hearing impaired. They like to be known as either deaf, or if they truly are hard of hearing, it's hard of hearing. And the reason why that is because the word hearing impaired, it's the word impaired that means that there's something broken or there's something wrong. And there's a lot of deaf individuals that feel that there's nothing wrong with being deaf, and that they're not disabled, and they can live normal lives and can do everything that a hearing person can do except for hear. So calling a person that is deaf or that's hard of hearing impaired, is kind of like offensive and an insult, and they don't like to be called that, even though I know that is the political correct word that a lot of people have been taught now. But it's perfectly fine to call a deaf individual deaf and a hard of hearing person hard of hearing. You won't hurt their feelings, and it's totally okay. Another question that was given to me was, I've been hearing this word coda be sounded off everywhere that we go when I go to my deaf events. Well, the reason why that is a coda stands for Children of Deaf Adults. So if a deaf individual was to have a deaf child, they would be known as a coda. And that's what it is. So I really, really appreciate your questions. And before we go, we're just going to review everything from the 2 classes that we have. So are you ready? Okay, so we're going to review the family signs. So this is family, this is sign. So the family signs. Okay, so this is, what's this sign right here? I think I heard you said it right. This is mom. And then what's this sign? That's grandma, very good. And this sign, dad. And this is, that's right, that's grandpa. And then you have aunt. Remember, we don't want to shake it like this. We want to shake it like this. This is aunt. Then we had niece. Then we had cousin. Then we had nephew. Then we had cousin. And then we had uncle. And also we learned the 2 different ways of saying brother and sister. We had girl and together, and we had girls same. We had boy together, and we had boy same. So that was brother and sister. And then we also had the dialogue that we had up here that I need you guys to practice. And it's okay if you're not signing very fast. The more you practice, the faster and more fluid your signs will be. And then we also learned this sign. Do you remember what this sign was? This is for learn. Very good. This was learn. This sign right here, right? This is no. And this was yes. And this was thank you. That's right. And this was please. Remember, please was an open palm. And if it's a closed fist, this was sorry. That's correct. And also, I forgot to mention another sign that you saw in the dialogue was this means no. It's kind of like you have all this knowledge in your head, so that's what I kind of think of as to know. And this means to understand. I like to think of the little cartoon that had the little light bulb, like when they had an idea, they go ding. That's why I think of understand. So this is understand. And then also, we also learn about how to say what, where, when, how to ask questions. So we have what, when, remember when, you just draw a little question mark to your finger. How, who, where, and why. So remember those. Let's do those again. So we have who, what, when, where, and how. And then we also had the days of the week. So if you remember, this is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is one way of doing Thursday, or you can do TH for Thursday. This is Friday. This is Saturday. And this is Sunday. Very good. Also, we learned how to say days. Heal one day like this. We learned how to say month. Remember, we always go in the back of the finger, not in the front, because if we go in front, it means something else. So this means month. This means week. It's kind of like we're scrolling through our iPad or our iPhone. This means week. If we put it into it, it's weekend. So this is weekend. And then we learn this is tomorrow. And this is every day. And this is yesterday. So let's go over those again. So this is day, week, weekend, every day, tomorrow, and yesterday. And we also learn how to say deaf. You go from ear to mouth or mouth to ear. We have friend. And we have hard of hearing. And we have hearing. Very good, very good. Some more conversational signs that may be imperative to learning is the sign for want. So this is a sign for want. Like, I remember this sign as just being really, really greedy and you just want it all. So, want. If you don't want something, you just throw it back out. So this is want. I want everything in the world. I'm greedy. I want the last piece of chocolate cake. And when you don't want, you kind of want to push it away from you. So want and don't want. Then you have the sign for like. This is a sign for like. And if you don't like something, you just do the same thing. You just kind of toss it and you just throw it away. So this is want, don't want, like, and don't like. Then you have the sign for understand. So once again, I just believe that this is kind of like a light bulb has just occurred in my head. So this is understand. And if you don't understand, you just shake your head for don't understand. And then there's a sign for can. So it's kind of like, I can do this. Can. And the sign for can't is you take your non-dominant hand, you take your dominant hand, you just kind of flick it like that and you shake your head. Can't. Can't. So let's review all that. So you have want, you have don't want, you have like, you have don't like, you have understand, don't understand, you have can, and you have can't. And also I need you to continue on practicing your ABCs and your numbers. And I hope to see you next time. And once again, please visit the website www.gotchi.org for anything that you want to know about the deaf culture, as well as learn anything about the deaf social events, as well as we have epeachy.com to learn anything more about the deaf culture, as well as any type of social events that are going on. And if you have any more questions, feel free to give me an email at lampra.jones@gmail.com, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. See you later.